This week we're asking the big question, can Asha Sharma actually fix Xbox? We're putting ourselves in her shoes, what needs to change, what's working, and whether she can succeed. Plus, Crimson Desert continues, we share early thoughts on Replaced, react to Pragmata, and in this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, we crown the one game everyone should play at least once in their life. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, a show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I'm your host Liam Kelvin, and today I'm of course joined by Scott, the OG tastemaker, the bearded one, Curry. How are we doing, Scott?
The man is here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to fucking chat all things video games and Xbox for sure.
You could say that this podcast this week is so good we've done it twice. Am I joking?
For those behind the scenes, Liam had a mouse in his house. He was having mice issues, and that was had to get the traps out.
Whoever designed the charger on an Apple mouse, they're up there, Scott. They're up there with some of the most trolling designs I've ever seen in my life, because they must be laughing. They must be laughing, man.
It's genuinely senseless. Like,
it is.
Senseless.
It's almost violent. That's how bad it is. But by that, how you doing this week anyway, man?
Very well. The foot is recovering. The swelling has gone down. I don't look like I've got an old lady's foot anymore. And I'm now bootless. So kinky boots is back on. But I'm pretty good. Painkillers are nice, so that's made the week flying, I would say. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Back to the grind, back to reality. Had a lovely little spell last week where we could all work from home, and it was great. A little taste of the old times. And it was good because it was the Easter holidays as well up here, and get to spend a wee bit more time with the kids. Even just I'm sitting working, but you know what it's like if you're in the same building as them or just within their vicinity, you could have some lunch with them and all that. That's been great. But back to reality this week, back in the office, but it's been a blessing and a curse because you get a taste for it. And I'm like, I'm a changed man. I think, see if I could do that one day a week, I'd be very happy. I think that's a good balance in terms of a day to execute. Anything longer, and I can't be trusted. That's basically it. So, as and that is growth. That's growth, Scott. That I can admit that. But
it really is. I couldn't imagine going back to working in somewhere like that, not at home. It's just being able just to go for a shit in my own toilet. Just it hits too well. So
yeah, it's an adjustment. But I'm glad I did it because I had to push myself out. I was in too much of a comfort zone, and the one thing that I was probably missing the most was probably the odd wee moment in the day. You could just stick on the PlayStation at your lunch break or something like that. And, if that's really the only thing I'm kissing goodbye to, it's like, I can live with that. I can live with that. And it's definitely, it's worked out, which has been good. But alas, I mentioned video games, Scott. We're here to talk about lots of video games. Last week, we spent a bit of time talking about PlayStation. Has the generation been worth it? You'll have to go back to last week's episode and find out. But, we're going to, in the interest of balance, we're going to be talking about Team Green this week, talking about Xbox. But there's a few things we want to get out the road and a few things to catch up on first. But before we do, let's get some housekeeping done, shall we? So this is the Pixel Parents podcast, which is a weekly gaming show by parents discussing all things gaming whilst raising little ones. And you can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please go subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss our tired faces. And you can find us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social or email us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. And you can support the show for free at patreon.com/pixelparents. Get bonus shows, community chats, and more. It'll cost you £0, but that will remain free all the time. If you can, leave a wee 5-star review. Share the podcast online with your friends. It does help us out. And of course, a massive thank you to everybody that joins us and shares the good word each and every week. We see you. We thank you. We love you. Right, Scott, before we start running Xbox, it's not our first time. We've got that in our CVs. We've did this before. We've ran Xbox in the past. But it's time to check in and talk about what we've actually been playing this week. Scott, I'm going to get the obvious thing out the road first here, right? Because I need help. I'm a sick man. A sick man with a bad habit, an addiction, and it's Crimson Desert again. Like, and I'm only I promise I've got 120 seconds here, right? But it continues to be the happy place. The more I play, the more I feel the benefit of doing so. And it's opening up, I feel, an interesting conversation, which is, how do you approach reviewing it, Liam? Because if I was to review it, and, you know, our book club approach means that we can kind of come to the group, being me and you, every week and share problems that we're having with can't get off this game. But it's purely because it's changed so much. Just the quality of life updates and a few wee tweaks here and there, and more to come. Sold 5 million copies. They've announced a big swathe of updates coming, stuff that was badly needed, like difficulty options, etc. And I feel that it's been a very curious and rare example. And the more I'm playing it, I'm thinking, damn, this really is everything that is effectively an early access game. That's what it feels like. You know, in a year's time, it's going to be completely different. But those reviews that came out are already mostly defunct. And it's insane because I'm like, I can't remember the last time a game did this. Like the pace and ferocity in which they're seeming to be updating this is mad. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a 10 out of 10. Right? they've not updated it that much, right? They've just rounded the edges off a wee bit. But Scott, I've tried my best to get off it this week, right? I thought I can't come to the table and talk to Scott Curry about Crimson Desert again. He might, you know, his soul might escape his body because he's not a believer in the Crimson Desert. So I thought there's a couple of other things in there as well that I played. One that I'm just going to back towards you, and I think we talked about it earlier in the week. Max Payne 3.
Yes.
Right. Picked that bad boy up on the ROG. So I thought, right, PlayStation's down the stairs. I'm up the stairs with the ROG. What have I got there? Picked up on Steam over Christmas for like a couple of quid. Man, I have forgotten what an underrated classic that is. I've not played it since I beat it in release, which is what, about 14 years ago or something? Maybe even longer, actually, because it was before Grand Theft Auto 5. That's disgusting.
That's horrendous.
You replayed it recently as well, didn't you?
I can't remember if I played it whilst we were doing the show or if it was before the show came out, but I remember playing through them all. And Max Payne fucking 3 is incredible, man. Like,
yeah.
It's, you can see the beginnings of what becomes GTA 5 in this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see where that comes from, but it's an excellent game. From start to finish, really, it's just like a fucking roller coaster ride. It's so good.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one I would recommend if you see it in the Steam sales and if you're that way inclined, or if you're curious, you get this thing, like, playing it on the ROG, you crank the whole thing up, man. Like, I'm still like in idiot mode when it comes to PC settings, but I'm just like, hey, I'll just try and push it as far as I can. And it's an old game, so you can get away with it. Man, it ran fantastically well. The bullet time mechanics and stuff, and I'm like, yes, like, I just needed that. Like, you know, sometimes at the weekend, you just want to watch a nonsense action movie, an ITV2 special. I felt like that, but in gaming form, you know.
It's funny you should say that, because I'm going to come back to that
right, okay,
momentarily. But yeah, continue. What else have you been up to?
Well, I'm going to, that's my slice of bread. We need to get to the meaty filling in the middle, Scott, and segue into, there's been a lot of big games come out this week, right? And this is just a big part of the check-in, so I'm trying to kind of breeze through it as quickly as we can before we get to the main topic. But a game, following on from last week, the new segment that we introduced on the joke we've not played, is Pragmata. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I I'm unaware if Scott has maybe changed that. And the last time I spoke to him, he might have bought Pragmata. We all know what he's like. He could be playing it right now as I'm talking. I'm not sure. But what I want to know is, if not, can he be tempted? Because the reviews and the action to that look pretty good. And it's also, and I quote, another dad game. So
Yeah. To be honest with you, Liam, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to sway me in particular. I wasn't enthused about the. I wasn't enthused about the demo for it. It didn't stick the landing with me, and I didn't even finish the demo, which an hour, maybe just over an hour, is a bit ridiculous. But there just wasn't enough there for me that I thought, yeah, let me part with my ever so needed money at the moment and pick
yeah.
up this game that I don't necessarily want. So no, I don't think there's anything now that's driving me to play it. If we were talking about, Onimusha right now, yeah, of course I'd have bought that already. But for something like this, it's an unknown quantity that didn't stick the landing. I'm not sure if there's going to be much there. But all the reviews and stuff, on the days of the reviews and what people were saying about it, yeah, I mean there was a moment almost of weakness where I was looking at it, but not enough for me to hit purchase. It may be something that I pick up down the line when it's a bit cheaper, or I just hang off and wait till it comes to like a Game Pass or a PlayStation Plus or something. But for now, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I genuinely thought that it would be something that you would pick up just because it's Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, like, well, do you know what? Maybe he could be tempted, but you're right. It does reek of something you could probably pick up for a decent price in a sale as well, in a few years' time. But it's, I don't know, there's something there about it, and I was like, do I have a duty? Because it was getting a bit of stick for it being, another dad game, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I totally get it, because it does seem to be a bit of a genre within itself, and also a bit of a pastiche of itself as well. And obviously I think people are just getting a wee bit, sick of it, I suppose. It's an interesting point, particularly pertinent to our show. You know what I mean? Like, should we be all over it because it's a dad game, or are we ourselves kind of like that? Nah, kind of seen and done that.
I'm a dad in real life, Liam. What do we a dad in games for?
I know. This ain't
I
no
want to be
game.
a fucking dog in games rather than a man.
True.
I don't actually know what I was saying there, but aye, it's there's other things in games that I want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, being a dad when I'm already one, it's something that I want to escape. I want to escape, not relive the experience of the day. It's just ridiculous, but I think it's not a given with Capcom now. They're allowed to release games that people don't love immediately. They've given me Resident Evil in the last month, so I think they'll forgive me if I don't buy Pragmata.
Yeah, I think they will, Scott, because you were there day one when it comes to Onimusha, but
Fucking
they're
do
on a
it.
bit of a tear, man. Like, everything's running fine. They're getting pretty good critical reception on the whole. If they drop Onimusha this year, which we're all expecting them to, man, this could be like an all-timer year in terms of your publisher of the year. I mean, the front runner. The front runner, that's for damn sure. Who knows, man? Who knows? But I mean, we wait with bated breath. But anything you've been playing this week, because there's another game that I want to get to, but any other big meaty ones you've been playing as we're catching up on this?
Of course, Liam. Absolutely. If you see my face light up, it's because I've got notes here. I've actually made notes for the first time, but yeah, following my journeys through Hyrule with Ocarina of Time, I thought, let's dust off, switch offline once more, and finally play a game that has evaded me for the longest time. And with that, I'm happy to report that I have played, completed, and put down The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, before I get to the good stuff, Liam, because, this game is an all-timer, if not the all-timer for Zelda, right? Do you mind if I take a minute just to ask you and the general public a question about this game?
When you go Beyonce.
Question. How the fuck were people finishing this game in 1991 and 1992 before guides and shit. Like, it is unbelievable the hoops that you have to jump through to finish this fucking shite.
Yeah.
You know, like, how was I to know at one point I'm supposed to play a flute to a duck in the middle of fucking Kakariko village to get fast travel to places? How was I to know that was there?
Yeah.
How was I to know, Liam? No, that's not even the most egregious one. Let me get to the egregious one, and you can give me the thing. But one of the most necessary, essential points of the game is that you are required to pick up an ice rod, which allows you to shoot off ice magic. Now, through normal playthroughs of the game, you're invariably going to pick up a fire rod, but at no point does it tell you that there's an ice rod. It alludes to something, that there's something to the east of Lake Hylia. It tells you that, but it doesn't tell you where the ice rod is. So at the end of the game, when you're facing, one of the bosses at the end, maybe the second last boss of the game, you have to have both fire rod and the ice rod to get through it. I got through this whole thing, Liam, and I didn't even have the fucking ice rod. So I got to the boss and it's like, now what? Now what am I doing? Like, fucking no idea. So here I am on Google fucking frantically searching, what the fuck? Where is the ice rod? And lo and behold, it is to the east of Lake Hylia. It's like, how the fuck? How the fuck are we supposed to be doing this, man?
Yeah, I mean,
ridiculous.
Excellent question. And I like these ones where I'm not prepared. I'm getting ones for the audience here. I'm getting ones from, what's it called? Spontaneous questions. And it's a thought I've been thinking about in another way this week. I'll get to why. Right, okay, small technical hiccup there, so that probably was a little bit jarring because Scott had to go away for a big fart. So we're back. The point I was making, Scott, when it comes to like the spoils and the riches in terms of Google and all the rest of it, it is because, we're a wee bit more leaning towards playing games in easy. As we mentioned, as I was saying before you got kicked off for your big pump, was like with Alex when he was on the show, we like to play games on easy, but we've also got the tools around us. Guides and all that were a thing in the past, but they were a luxury. The Prima guides and all that. You'd see them in the game shops, and it's like, what's another £20? It looks cool. Artwork was cool. And I was never buying that personally because I'm like, well, I've only got X amount of birthday money or something like that to get this, and that's that. Or, in fact, 9 times out of 10, that was it. If you're chancing your arm for the game as a kid and not so much the guide. But you also had the playground culture and stuff as well. But then even outside of that, if you take away, obviously, the Googling and stuff like that, which is something I tend to do more as an elder gamer, I would say now, it's that whole thing of like, you had time. And that's probably the biggest difference that you're facing and we're facing as well, is that you've got time to solve the problem and go through the process of elimination. And if you were way back in the day as, a kid or a teenager or something playing Link to the Past, it was basically like, right, I'm stuck. I'm just going to go talk to these people. I'm going to go try these items. I'm going to just try use the items around these people. I'm just going to do everything I can. And you can spend hours doing that until you finally found a way through it. And then that becomes the hearsay, the word of mouth, like, oh, by the way, I was on that and this is what you do. And you kind of tackle the problem together. And I think that's how the games were designed, I suppose, back in the day. But you're right, it's, if you're approaching that now for the first time, you're like, man, I can't be arsed with this. Like, we're used to that little bit of, admittedly, not so much hand-holding, but signposting in games, which is a good segue into my next point here, because my son and I have been playing through a game which I'm noticing that problem-solving part is becoming a bit of a hurdle, and it's Crash Bandicoot 4 of all games. He's obviously seen videos and he's watching that on YouTube and stuff like that. And he's been dying to play it. I was like, okay, let's do that. And he's hooked on it. We're playing it together, which is lovely. Every day I'm getting in from work and it's like, let's play Crash 4. And it's like, cool. And before I leave, he's always asking, let's play Crash 4. It's like, right. But my God, it needs a kids mode because it's fucking impossible at points. Like, it's practically pretty much like a precision platformer at this point in the series. Yeah, it's cutesy and the kids love it, but see, by the time you're getting to that second world onwards, forget about it. Like it's almost unplayable for like a 5-6-year-old at that point, because you're sitting there sweating, going, Jesus, how did I make that jump? No, it's fine, I'll get through it. That's fine. One of those ones. But and I come back to Zelda because he's tried to play Zelda so many times. I even tried them on the Link's Awakening remake, which is like, it's built to appeal to kids, but the kids of today are in this world with these luxuries and stuff around us, even as young as 4 or 5 and stuff, however young they want to be, and that's probably a consideration they might have to bear in mind. And don't get me wrong, Link's Awakening is a little bit more simple to get through, the remake that is, but it's still old school in that remake, so they didn't actually, signpost things too much in that. You could just do that thing where you're circling about Hyrule, like, well, it's not even Hyrule, sorry, but you're just circling about the place going, where the hell am I? What am I doing? Like, it's a strange one. It's good food for thought, though. You know what I mean? It's
just something that's come up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, obviously, are we smarter now, or smarter then than we were now? Or no, fuck, I can't even speak. That makes the point. Were we smarter then than we are now? Maybe so, but it might also just be the fact that was the game that you had. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were playing A Link to the Past, that might have been one of the only games that you had. So you had the time to devote to fuck about in, all these places and try and find, every single thing that you could possibly find, all the heart pieces and everything. But yeah, it was just something that came up. But that game is, quintessential Zelda. It just feels like that's where Zelda found itself. I don't know if that was in the fucking the pantheon of the Legend of Zelda series, but this is where the game became what it is today. The characters, the music, the setting, and all that is just, it's all there in this game, and it feels like that's where it is now. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily changed. It's just different variations of the same, but it's still fucking class.
Yeah, 100%.
I love Ganon. I love the design of Ganon. I think that's cool as all hell.
What's next on the Zelda journey? I mean,
I think Wind Waker. I think Wind Waker's probably going to be the way to go. I'm excited to play it. Yeah, I think I will enjoy it. But one thing I want to say, Liam, and give the big shout out to, because we're obviously going to have a big conversation about Game Pass, and Xbox and stuff. But Switch Online continues to be a fucking excellent deal in video games for what you pay for it. What you get is incredible, but what you also get, Liam, is a rewind function on these fucking things, because by God, if I hadn't had a rewind function on this fucking game, I would have torn my hair out. Whatever hair I have left, the nubs of hair that I still have in my scalp would have been ripped straight out, because my God, it was a fucking pain in the arse at points. So big shout out to that. But before I move on away from the Nintendo Switch, let me tell you a story about Saturday night, Liam. Saturday night. No, it's not the one. It was we had a do in the house for the house move, and also for my wife's birthday, where all the family came up, and they, had a few drinks and had a wee party and stuff. And I made myself scarce. Me and all the older children went up to the office, the gaming palace, and they were just playing through games. So I let one of my younger nephews play Dark Souls for the first time, and I was like, if you can beat the first boss, you can have it. Beat the first boss, lo and behold, I had to help him, but he got there.
The Taurus demon.
Yeah, the Taurus demon was shown the door, but it led to us. I was like, what can we play together? Because we're all just watching people play games and passing the controller and stuff. I was like, what can we play together as four? Switch Online, Liam. Went onto the Nintendo 64, and we were just looking at the games on there. I was looking at Mario Party. I was like, that's just going to be a bit of a pain in the arse to try and put together.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I found Mario Golf on there. Now, my older nephews are 16 and they play golf pretty much every fucking day. Do you know what I mean? Like big golfers. We also had the Masters, second last night of the Masters was on. So
Yep.
it's like,
Yep.
what a night for it. So we stuck on Mario Golf and we had an 18-hole tournament on Mario Golf, the four of us. We'd
Nice.
all have a shot past the Pro Controller and do it the whole way through. And it was fucking amazing. Like, I've not had a night like that for ages, but see, just passing the controller one by one, watching how you do, just taking a piss out of each other on the couch, just like, it was fucking hilarious. One of my younger nephews, so the twins, the 16-year-olds, they were winning the whole way through. You know, first one was winning the first 9, he was fucking bossing it, you know, like just destroying us, and then his ass fucking collapsed the rest of the way. My other nephew, the second twin, he started winning about, 3/4 of the way through it.
Yeah.
And then he fucking butchered a shot in the last hole, hit it into the water or something like that, and I came through. The power man, just slow and steady, just fucking snuck my whole way through and won it in the last hole. And I didn't fucking shut up about it. And it was fucking outrageous, man. It's so good. I took a picture of the scorecard and stuff as well, just to remind myself when I log into my Switch every night. Just like,
nice.
Still on top. We're still on top. But it was just class, like just having moments like that these games still have purpose for things like that, and it's class. Like, they're brilliant, and it just goes to show you that you can still have fun on these games, which is good. And couch multiplayer games still win for that as well. So it was good for that. But the last game, Liam, I spoke to you about it very briefly a couple of nights ago, but I finally decided to take the plunge and pick up a game that I've been teasing picking up for a very long time. A game that I don't think anyone will be able to guess. In a month of Sundays, nobody would be ever able to guess what this is. You might, because you fucking know what it is.
Crimson Desert.
No, it's not Crimson Desert. But it does fit into the category of games that are not considered great, but still serve a purpose. The way that I put it to my wife is that, sometimes you don't want to watch, Breaking Bad or The Last of Us or fucking name another award-winning TV show. Sometimes, maybe not that one. Sometimes you do just want to sit down and watch like Friends or watch,
reality
TV. Sometimes you just want to sit and watch shite because you don't have to fucking sit and watch it with your brain on.
Yep.
And that is exactly what I said to my wife to describe Days Gone Remastered, Liam.
He's here.
I picked up Days Gone Remastered in the PlayStation sale, and I've been teasing it for a very long time. So I want to play it just for no reason other than it interested me. And I watched watching the details on the remastered version, and they had like a mode. It's like a horde mode, so you could fucking just attack like a massive horde of these fucking things coming at you. So there's a wait. I'll hold fire on that, and I'll just play through the story because I've never done it. I played through the opening, didn't do anything more than that. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it some time and let it settle in. And I'm further now than I ever have been in this game, Liam. And I'll tell you something, this is a fucking damn fine remastered version of it. Like, it's strikingly good looking, shockingly. It's got a PS5 Pro enhanced version of it as well. So when you go to the graphics settings, there is an enhanced version of it. So it's like, it does the thing that we like most about PS5 Pro games, in that it tells you what it's doing. It tells you that it's using the pisser, and it looks class. Like, I can't remember what it looked like before this, but it genuinely, like, it runs fucking buttery smooth the whole way through. The opening cutscenes I was like, my god, like, who made this shit? But it's class looking. Like, I'm just excited to see how it develops as time goes on, because it's interesting me so far. And it's, as I say, sometimes you don't want caviar, sometimes you just want fucking cheeseburgers, and this is a big fucking cheeseburger that I'm quite happy to eat.
That's the thing, like, Days Gone, I remember sticking with it for a good 20 hours or so back in the day, and eventually put it down. Purely, zombies generally give me anxiety because coward. But it had that wonderful sense of dread, and it was unique. Like the premise, there's nothing quite like that in terms of an open world and what you're doing in there. Yes, there's a few of the survival elements chucked in there with the fuel and stuff like that, and it's kind of it makes a demand on you as a player where you can't just Crimson Desert your way about the place. You've got to kind of take your time and be methodical and be careful. That's the thing. Like, how many open worlds do you need to be that careful and to that degree of polish? And I think that it's a very, very good shout for a game like you just described. Something you could just go on there and just shut your mind off and just have a bit of fun. Like, I totally get it. Like with me playing Crimson Desert now, Days Gone is totally that. Like, and especially by the time you get to the horde mode, the size of the groups of zombies that this game can produce is impressive. I still see like content creators out there creating stuff about Days Gone, and it is staggering, staggering. But it's one of those ones looking at it, if they made a sequel to that, and if they half the story mode duration and they added a few more fun things like that in there, this could be a hit on their hands. But I think in a world where you're in a stable of IP that you're sharing with The Last of Us, you're always going to get compared to that, and it's a completely different game. But I'm glad that you finally picked up, because for years I've always had this thought in the back of my head, like, I don't know, this might not be Scott Curry's favourite game, but I think it's a game that Scott Curry will enjoy, and
we'll see.
Please,
we'll see. It's doing enough so far to keep my interest, and it's kind of coming off the back of Zelda. It's like I want something to play, but I don't want something big.
Yeah,
and
I
want something just not fucking mind, because I've used enough of my thought processes to figure out how to finish fucking Zelda games the last 2 weeks. So, I'm very excited to see how this develops and kind of take it from there. But it was one that, I saw it in the sale. I was looking through the sales and just like, what we're like before you go to bed at night. It's just like farting through it and just looking through shite. And Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's always on sale. Every Hunter Call of the Wild fucking bullshit's already on there as well. But I just saw it and I went, you know what? Now is the time. Now is the time for it. I was like, it was like 12 quid, 14 quid or something like that. So I was like, fuck it, let's just go for it. And honestly, shocking how good it looks.
Yeah, no, I bet, man. I'd love to see it like with the PS5 Pro enhancements. I didn't know it had a Pro enhanced patch on it, so that's pretty exciting, because it is a looker. Definitely a looker. But you do need some small games. I've got one other one that I've started this week, Scott, that I'm just teeing up for next week, but just initial impressions, and that's, of course, Replaced, which came out this week as well. Big week. There was also Mouse PI for Hire, but I don't think either of us have been playing that. I don't think I'm going to, if I'm honest. Only so many hours in the day, Scott, plus we're both on Redacted, so we've got to watch our time for that. But I've been playing Replaced. I totally forgot that this is on Game Pass, which is like cool, because I was all set to maybe try check it out on Steam. But yeah, for those who don't know, 2.5D platformer action adventure game. You're basically playing as an AI trapped in this dude's body in this kind of cyberpunk world, basically. And it's this alternate 1980s. I can't remember the year exactly, but you're in America. You can picture the scene, and very kind of pixel art inspired in there as well. And it's a stunning game. Like, initial impressions is it's like, wow, okay, this is more than your average, I suppose, in terms of looks. Playing it on the ROG, I have to say, even with things cranked up to turbo and stuff like that, it does have a little stuttering issue on the first couple of playthroughs, but I'm like, okay, just want to put a heads up on that for people that maybe want to check it out on that. But the first thing that I'm getting from it is an inside vibe, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing for me. That's all I'm saying. And this is the little tease for next week when I return to it. But it's early days, but I will report back and just to see how I get on with that. But the place is there. But it's definitely, if you were a big fan of Inside, big cyberpunk fan, something just that more side-scrolling type thing, maybe it's worth picking it up on Game Pass. But Scott, speaking of Game Pass, I think we should move on to our main topic this week. See what I did there? That was expertly done. This is so
segue of the Kings here.
Segue of the Kings. But before I do move on to the main topic, Scott, I just want to make people aware, if you want to support the show, just go over to patreon.com/Pixel Parents. It's free all the time. There will never be a paid tier. You get every show, chats, and bonus shows, including the side quest with Scott and Pixel Parents Presents and the patch notes 1 and 2, which are all up there for free. All you have to do is go and join. Oh God, I'm tired. Yeah, just go there, patreon.com/Pixel Parents, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube as well, youtube.com/@Pixel Parents Podcast. But Scott, enough of that. Time for us to get to the main topic. We've talked about the games we've been playing. Let's talk about platforms, because Xbox is at the crossroads again. They're never off the bloody crossroads in this main topic. Can Asha Sharma save Xbox? How we'd fix the brand. Now, feels like every week, but this week is no different. Xbox has been rumbling away in the background with talks of a potential delay to Fable at the start of the week that has since been poo-pooed. We'll see. And Asha Sharma herself admitted that Game Pass has become too expensive in a leaked internal memo. So I thought, good chance for us to catch up, particularly after last week's chat with PlayStation.
Indeed.
And ask the big question, can Asha Sharma save Xbox? Now, a really, really fun starting point for us, right? Because this is the Blue Peter moment, right? This isn't the first time we've had a similar conversation about what we'd do for Xbox. Now, about a year ago, long-time listeners will remember an episode we put out last January, I want to say.
25th of January.
Wow. Make Xbox great again. That's right. We did that. And we put out that show, and it was just off the back of an Xbox showcase, I believe, like the
developer it was a developer direct where they showed off Expedition 33, Ninja Gaiden 4, fucking what's that shite game? Oh no!
Oh, God.
Oh, this happened in the episode as well. I couldn't think of the name of the person who said "let them eat cake." What's it called again? The New Orleans one, South of Midnight.
South of Midnight, yeah.
Not that I didn't say it.
How dare you?
I didn't mean to call it shite. I was just trying to think of something. And there was another game that was included as part of it, but we were glowing about the developer direct.
It was good.
So it led to a very good conversation about Xbox and how you created a manifesto. You called it a manifesto of what you would do if you were in charge of Xbox.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we talk outside the show, folks. But we're saying that it'd be quite fun for us to kind of go back and listen to the stuff that we put on the table last year and view that in the context of what we would do with Asha Sharma taking over and how we'd fix the brand today. Now, Scott has probably got better notes than I. From what I can remember, because I went back and listened to the show, did do some prep. I had put a couple of things and said manifesto for Xbox, and I thought I'll just start here, just as a quick rundown to see what was nailed and what's failed. I had said they need at least 1 to 2 tentpole exclusives a year, with one of them at least being multi-platform. I'm going to say we nailed that. That was a neat one, low-hanging fruit, but I think this is pre-Halo and Forza and Starfield not getting announced anyway. Like, they put the full suite there. I also said commit to everything being an Xbox. Failed, I would say, at this point, because we don't know yet, but all signs are pointing to that they're shit canning it, which is fair enough. And more of the big franchises that I love this generation was the key points. Aside from, I think you had pointed this out, Scott, making the call that Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is a Game of the Year material. So I might be Jeff Keighley. I'm not sure. That might be it. But yeah, it was very interesting going back and listening. I mean, what did you have in your notes there? What stood out to you going back and listening to that?
It was funny going back because we were very complimentary of Xbox at that moment in time, I think even myself was saying that, it's a weird place with what they were doing and the fact that they were actually showing off games that we can be excited about. And that was a big part of the manifesto, is that they're showing us games that we can play and games that we can love to play. And that's what they had managed to do the last year. So we're saying more of that as a start is what they need to do.
Yeah.
You made a point very early on, and I know, forgive me, I think it was like early January 12th, maybe mid January 2025, that you said this is the year where they get their shit together, Liam.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year where the Xbox get their shit together. Now, listen, I am not the judge, jury, and executioner of the Xbox here, but I think that you could say, they've started to maybe, get some of that shit in a row to bring it together, but there's still some strewn across the floor. It's still covered in shit, and you're still having to pick this up.
It feels that way.
It did, yeah. The big elephant in the room for me, and I was big on this in that episode talking about Black Ops 6. You were glowing about it as you should be, talking about its success and how Xbox should be very pleased about how it performed. The fact that it was a juggernaut on Game Pass, a lot of new subscriptions and stuff. But my the doommongerer was very quick to point out that this Black Ops or this Call of Duty probably isn't the most important one. It is how the next one performs. People are excited about how Call of Duty shows up on Xbox as a one now rather than a two. Whereas, how does the next COD perform? I rest my case. I need to say no more. But yeah, I think that's where I stopped listening, because listening to your own voice gets a little bit fucking grating at times. But it was just very much being very open about how we would want Xbox to be run. I kept on talking about the heads of Xbox and how we get too much access to them. How we see Phil, how we see Sarah Bond and the Booty Man all the time. How we see them pretty much every single fucking day, and how we are shown the inner workings of Xbox almost on a fucking daily basis, because we can't not see them. Now that's changed. I don't know what the fuck Asha Sharma's doing. It's all leaking, but I have no idea what she's up to. Which I like. I think that's the way it should be. I couldn't tell you who runs Nintendo. Who runs Nintendo, Liam?
I don't recall.
Couldn't tell you.
Bowser's left. I can't do it off the top of my head.
I think it's not a woman that's running them. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a woman that's running them. I couldn't tell you her name though, but I couldn't tell you anything about Nintendo. I know about Herman at PlayStation, but I don't see what he's up to. He's quite quiet, even in the PlayStation stuff. Like, he's not front and center, and that's what was always the problem for me with Xbox. So the fact that doesn't seem to be the case with Asha so far, I quite like.
I'm going to come back to that later because it's an interesting point that I think we're going to get into Asha soon.
Ooh. Maybe reword that, Liam.
Reword that, yeah. Into the role of Asha soon. Jesus, I've cancelled. But yeah, I think going back to that episode, the one thing that was quite pertinent to me, and it actually goes to show me how quickly you can turn things around, but also how quickly you can turn it to shit. And we were saying, this was January, so I believe this was like pre-Blueprints and Oblivion Shadow Drop and Clair Obscure, when it felt like all I was doing was playing Xbox. But we were in that point where it's like, we'd said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that we're actually enjoying our Xbox for the first time this generation, but also more than our PlayStations at that time. Now, you fast forward just a little over a year later, and I've kind of had that feeling like I've recently just been playing my Series X more. Obviously, when I'm playing Xbox, I'm playing the ROG, right? But I feel like I've been playing the Series X just a little less and less as time's gone. I've been playing the PlayStation 5 more and more. That's always been the mainstay for me. Mm-hmm. But that is interesting. And I'm like, right, they've got it all to play for now in terms of, can they, if we're going to be a barometer for that, in terms of like how we're talking about this in the wider conversation, if they succeed, we will both be back on playing those Xboxes a lot more. And that's really what it is. But I thought we're going to start there in terms of Asha Sharma. So she's the new head honcho. And the big question there, I suppose, right, before we get into it, can she fix this brand? Can she fix this problem? Can she save Xbox? Big question first.
Vamp for a second, Liam, because there's a dog barking outside. Can you hear it?
I can indeed, yeah. I can indeed.
Is it giving you flashbacks?
Yes, it is. I'm going to you here, folks. But I'll kick off first then.
Oh, what?
Jesus
I'm dying.
Christ. This is, I'm not joking, probably the most chaotic podcast we've ever recorded. But I'm going to crack on whilst he's going and sorting out a dog. But yeah, Asha Sharma, can she fix the brand? And I think we've got to give her a chance, and that's the fair thing to do. You definitely just need to give her a fair shot, give her a chance at trying to fix the brand, but it's going to take a Herculean effort, lots of big swings, good bit of luck, and potentially a miracle to stop the rot. But we have to believe, because we're gamers at the end of the day. I'm very much platform agnostic. We have to believe. I want Xbox to do well, I want PlayStation to do well, I want Nintendo to do well. But we have to believe, because there's too much good stuff in there, in between all the corporate bollocks of what's happening at Microsoft. And Xbox is important to Microsoft, whether you like them or loathe them. There's no getting away from that. However, there's also no getting away from the fact that the rot has settled in, and that's going to be really tough to do. But my standpoint is, I feel like I've softened on Asha Sharma because time's a healer. At first I was a wee bit like, oh Jesus, all the AI stuff and all that. I'm like, oh no, she's coming in with the big scythe. This is going to be the end of days. But she's been looking to just go about things in a very new age CEO way. Let's get the quick wins. Let's get all that, Stephen Bartlett bollocks that usually comes out their mouth. And it's like, let's try and get all that stuff out there. And she's going about it the way that they've assigned a team to kind of listen to fan feedback and respond to it, and just like fix some small things first. It's like, that goes a long way. And that's a good foundation to start to fix Xbox, I suppose. But do you think she can fix the brand, Scott? Xbox itself?
I mean, I think she has to. I don't think it's can she. I think she fucking has to. I'm with you. I didn't hear what you said for the first few minutes because
Just got to give her a chance.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately what it is. We're all quick to, lump on the fact that she's not Phil Spencer, she's not Sarah Bone, she's not a known quantity. She is affiliated with this AI background because AI is hellspawn and the worst thing that can ever happen. But it is also just this person, Asha's coming in with. She's obviously got something, because why would she be given the job otherwise? I'd like to believe that that's the case. I'd like to believe it's not one of these corporate backings, because she is big on AI and, the guy, oh, fucking hell, what's his name?
Satya
Nadella, like, is deeply in love with ChatGPT. It's just, it's one of those things where, is that the reason why she's been hired? I hope not, but as you say, there's enough there that suggests that she's maybe answered some of the questions that people had about her. I like the fact that I've not seen or heard from her. I'd like a CEO just to be doing the job and let the games and the console and everything just speak for her. Ultimately, I could not care less who's in charge of Xbox or Nintendo or PlayStation. See, as long as they're getting the job done, that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. How are you judged on success? Is it going to be the E3 conference where you've come out and said something funny? Or is it going to be the fact that you heralded one of the most successful ages of Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo? Do you know what I mean? That's really all that matters here. Can she do it?
Remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen, but I think that the lineup of games that she's got at her disposal is a good starter,
Aye. She's signed to a new team. They've got some good players on the bench there.
Aye, basically, yeah. She's she's the next manager after Pep Guardiola. You know what I mean? It's just like the team is already there. You don't really have to do much.
Yeah.
But
On a 15
get fucking Ellen Haaland to fuck a big fucking dickhead.
Oh,
Sell him to fucking St Mirren or some shit. Get him to
good job.
because
I wish a big player would actually do that. I'm getting sidetracked, but it'd be so funny. But do you know what? I'm going to go play for, like, I don't know, like Dundee or something.
Yeah,
like that, just for a laugh.
Just absolutely crushing the Scottish leagues for no reason.
Rather
Aye, it'd be hilarious. But it's just, everything's there. The dominoes are in place. She just has to push them in the right place, and everything will fall nicely. What I don't think is going to happen is with all this fucking Project Heelish pish. I think just batten down the hatches, get the games out, and just let them fucking run.
Yeah.
But it's for me, Liam, and this is my final point until you move on, right? But it's just, I'm talking about these games. What next? These are games that have been in gestation for years. You're talking about Forza, you're talking about Fable, you're talking about a Halo, you might be talking about Gears. These are all games that have been coming for a long time. What after that? What comes after? Are we still going to have to wait even longer for the next set of these games, or do they have something in place already that will continue on that path?
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows?
This is a problem with the 25th anniversary approach, which is putting all the eggs in the one basket. It means that they all have the same starting gun. It's not about where they finish, it's about starting. PlayStation get away with it more because they stagger it. At least, there's years between the big projects and they try to do one or two big ones a year.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking almost like an MCU type approach, like one or two big tentpole releases, and then we keep the things going from PlayStation Studios every year. The thing that I think they've got to bear in mind, or Asha Sharma has to, if I was her, is that you're under way more scrutiny at Xbox, and what you have to do first is get credit in the bank, because the reason why PlayStation they get scrutinized, Nintendo gets scrutinized, but they've got some credit in the bank because of had a run of some hits there. You can see the output, you can see the vision, you understand it. You might not agree with it, but with Xbox, it just seems to be like, here's the next new strategy, here's the next new strategy, here's the next one, and people are tired of it. They're tired of hearing the new things. It's like they just want a consistent output, and if they can do something just to start to build that momentum, she'll have every chance of success.
Yeah.
But
and
otherwise, they get scrutinized, man.
Yeah, that's why we were saying it's the place that we would enjoy playing our Xbox for the first time, is because they had consistency. They had the games and they came out at a consistent rate. Now, some people might have said that, they do release their big hitters, on top of each other far too often. I can't remember who it was that said that, but someone definitely said it. But it's just like, I wouldn't mind it if Fable was to be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to play it anyway. I don't give two fucks. But I won't. I genuinely won't. But
getting nosy.
I'd like Forza Fable does not move the needle with me at all, right? And that's cool, but it does for a lot of other people. But it's just like, if you're going to release these games, I don't mind them having the PlayStation approach, because at least they're going to be coming then. Like, if it was 4 games a year, right? Let's just say 4 big fucking tentpole fucking shite tentpole. That's hilarious. Tentpole games that are there. Then do that, but stagger them in a way that makes sense. 3-4 games a year, I think, is more than enough to satiate my need for it. And you mentioned it earlier with Game Pass and stuff, like were replaced, for example. Like, that's a game that I might have had a little bit of interest in. Fair enough, right? But just this Game Pass model that it is right now, like, I don't want to buy it. I'm not going to buy that game because I have no interest in playing it after I've played it. So I thought, you know what, I'll jump on Game Pass and see how much it would be for me to play this. 22 quid, Liam.
Yeah.
$22.99, and I might as well fucking buy it at that point, but I'm not going to. It's just like, the value isn't there for me in games like that. But then I was like, how can I stretch it? How can I make that $22.99 worth it? And there just wasn't anything there for that. So it's just like, you've got to have these big releases that matter for people. If you're going to charge $22.99 for Game Pass, you've got to have the games there for that. But you also have to have, if Game Pass is still going to be a thing, you've got to have those other games around it that make the value worthwhile, you know?
Yeah.
But it just wasn't there for me with that, and I just couldn't be asked. Like, I'm not going to get shagged financially to pay for a service that I just don't think is worthwhile. Like, it's just, aye.
No, you're right. I mean, and that leads me to the next point. You know, like what does she need to prioritise? And I've got that at the top of the list, which is, you know, make Game Pass great again. You know, because the price hike it hurt it. You know, there's no getting away from it. Like $22.99 here. I believe it's $30 in America, $29.99. So I think for me, and I've heard a lot of other, you know, podcasters and content creators talk about this, and there's all different viewpoints. So I'm going to chuck my 2 cents in there. It's only fair. I think the way is to introduce more tiers. I think gamers will still find value in it, like you mentioned there. You're like, in that instance, I could spend £20 on the game, or I could spend £22 on a monthly subscription. Like, that is always a moving feast. That's always going to be something that will change depending on how much disposable income you have at that moment in time, how much is the game you're wanting to play, etc., etc. I think the gamers will always find their own value, and the way to do that is to just kind of flex up the tiers a bit, better than what they've got now. I do think, though, and I've heard a lot of talk about this, about removing the headline attractions. I think, but if they were to do that and dilute the service, so taking out Call of Duty, which is I can get because I want to drive revenue, but if you take out Forza, if you take out Halo, you take out these other big ones that you know, it's like, right, I'm subscribed to Game Pass because I know I'm going to get that for at least $22.99 versus $70, no brainer. Because the gamer in that example is like, I might just want to dip into Forza for a month or two, and I've still spent less than buying it outright. And it's to just lower the point of entry. £70 is still way higher than $22.99, or less if you're getting something else. And I think if you dilute it and make Game Pass lesser, it does make it useless and pointless. And I think it's okay. I've been listening to some other voices out there, and it's okay if you're kind of getting games, free codes and all that. It's okay to kind of sit there and go, you know, yeah, I think we should just, you know, take this stuff out and sell it and make it exclusive again. Just starting to sound like the corporate people that you're criticising a lot of the times on the show, because you're thinking revenue first.
Go off.
And I know, but it's true. And I'm like, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove and you're sitting there and it's like, do I want, you know, 48 quid in my pocket net positive, or do I want to spunk all that in a game that might be good? Or do I want to spend, in this case, 22 quid for a month? I get to check it out, play a few other things, scale it up, scale it down. Kind of similar to like if you were to buy a Netflix subscription or an Apple TV, if there's a show you want to check out, you don't keep it all year. Some people do, but most, I imagine, don't, and they cancel it. And that's the point in it. Like, these subscription services are designed for you to kind of take them up and cancel them. They're not designed for you to latch onto them forever. You can if you want, but that's something that we kind of need to get used to in this era of digital ownership or lack of it. But for me, I think it's dead easy to pontificate, and for me, I can't possibly sit here in all good conscience and say, to make it Game Pass great again, take all the big games out of it and just leave this, you know, your B tier games, I suppose, out there, or the hit and hopes, the ones that might become a big hit. And I'm not meaning to talk down about these other games, but you need the headline stuff to get the casual in. If you're wanting to put the corporate hat on, and it's like, you want to talk about Xbox, like driving revenue and all that, you want to sound like Satya Nadella, you keep the big ones in it. And you still, do you know, people who really want it can still go fucking buy it today. That's the thing. But
I think there's something to be said for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about what I would do, because that's what this show's all about, and we're the host of the show, so I can say what I fucking want. But I think the fact that Asha Sharma is wary of the fact that it is too expensive is good. You know, I think that's a good thing, because it is too fucking expensive. Now, the price point for that, is it inflated to include something like a Call of Duty? Probably, right? Because they have to recoup some of the fucking billions that it costs them to get the fucking thing. Now, in this world where we are literally being fucking pumped for every penny, like,
Yep.
do I want to be paying for a service for a game that I might not be playing? I don't know, Liam. Now, could you envisage? Could I envisage, or let's all imagine a world where there is a Game Pass tier that just doesn't include Call of Duty, includes everything else,
Yep.
but just doesn't include Call of Duty. Call of Duty has its own Game Pass. It's a tenner, and you just fucking take it. Fair enough. Run with it.
COD
That's
Pass.
COD Pass. That's 7 months. You could just fucking enjoy COD to yourself. Enjoy it for 6 months because that's all we ever enjoy it for. Unless you're an absolute pervert, then 7 months is fine, and then you just fuck off. Great, perfect. What I do hate is the fact that there's tiers to allow you to play games day one. I hate that. Fucking scrap that immediately. I think that's the stupidest thing you could ever have done. I would be quite happy, Liam. Take me to 15 quid. Give me all games every single time, and that's it. See, if that was the case, I'd still be a Game Pass subscriber now. But it's just the fact that I have to be on my fucking hands and knees like Oliver at Mr. fucking Bumble's fucking plate asking for more. It's like ridiculous. Give me a £15 Game Pass tier without Call of Duty and give me the games day one and I will take it and run. That's all I need.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that's where that has to come from, because even if they were to do that and they said, you know what, the COD Pass element of it, and they would probably chuck in the shit you don't play, like the Fortnite bonuses and all that. They'll add in all the extra tack, and they made it a tenner. Let's face it, they make it a tenner. It's like, do you know what? That's Game Pass Ultimate's $15.99 or what, $14.99, and we're also adding a COD Pass part of it, which can take you up to Ultimate Plus, and that gives you access to the only difference, like you said, is Call of Duty. I think we'll pay for that, because then what it does is they can have their cake and eat it. Because some people might go, in fact, most will go, I'm just going to go $15.99. I'm just going to go back to buying Call of Duty. Or they might go, I might just pay a tenner, try it out. Is it good? Is it shite? And they're still getting revenue. And if they really like it, they'll go, do you know what? Actually, I'll just go buy that then.
I reckon you'd sell more consoles if you said COD was a tenner. That's a fucking excellent proposition. And people would forget. It's like buying a gym membership in January, is that you forget you've got it by February. So it's like people would just have it.
Would that COD Pass just be accessed? You're effectively just paying £10 a month to play COD, or do you need to have a Game Pass subscription to access the COD bowl? And that's the thing they need to figure out.
So the Call of Duty as a hub comes as a tenner. Everything includes everything within it. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to pay more for a Game Pass subscription elsewhere, you can do. There's maybe a tier where you get the Ultimate Plus, $22.99. You get Game Pass normally and Call of Duty for $22.99. If you don't want to pay for COD, $14.99. You want to pay for COD by itself, it's a tenner. There you go.
That actually work, because they would get £120 instead of £70 out of somebody if they subscribe to that for a year. So they're already
telling you, Liam. Put me in charge of Xbox. It's just, you're people like us. We're happy to pay for it, right? Because we will play Call of Duty. But I'm thinking about,
you've got skin in the game.
Norman, who doesn't play Call of Duty, he plays, JRPGs his whole life, or wants to play Magic the Gathering in his den.
Or maybe he just wants to play like Forza next month.
Yeah. Just wants to enjoy it. Yeah, I think you're locking people out of wanting to pay for this game, because it is like I would have no qualms with paying for Forza $15.99 just to play it once. That's it. Because I might want to play something else. I'd maybe pay $14.99 to play Hades 2 on my Xbox.
Oh yeah,
because it's a more interesting proposition. But $22.99 just seems like a stupid number for it to be. It just feels daft, and it feels like that will push people out of that interest zone. Like, what was it? Who was that said that? Oh, it was like the pricing point chat. Price point 5. Oh, wait a minute. There was a game that came out recently, and it was like the developers had said that, like, if come back to me, vamp for a second, and I'll come back to it.
Yeah, that's what it's like for me. Like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm quite happy because I've got a few months of Xbox Game Pass Premium with the Rogue, so that kind of offsets some Ultimate just now. But this is the good time of year. Every year it feels like the spring's the best time of year to get Game Pass. They always have good banger releases, and there's usually basically between now and the showcase in June, there's always a golden season. Obviously, Forza coming up. I'm like, yep, I'm quite happy. That's a perfect example of a Game Pass game for me. It's like, cool, check that out for a month, play it, and I'm looking forward to playing it like on the ROG and stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to play it with my son because I know he will enjoy like the racing aspect. And if it's really good, it's like, yeah, I'm quite happily just invest it. It's almost like, unfortunately, it's like it's a paid demo, but it's not really. But you're carrying over your progress. But
it's true. I found the quote. If you'll let me say it. So it's from the people who made Peak, the walking game, a climbing game on Steam. But it's they had a joke. So how much is a game really? In a player's mind, what does it mean to spend $5? Well, that's $5. But $6, that's still $5. $4 is also kind of $5. $3 is $2, and $2 is basically $3. So they've got these tiers. So $12, that's $10. $13 is $15.
Yeah.
But they've also found that $8 is $5. It doesn't become 10, $7.99. That's $5. So $8, $8 going to $5 is the biggest differential we could find in pricing. So we found that very optimal. So it's like there's a difference in terms of just the number you put out there and how that pertains to value. It might still be a ridiculous number, but $22.99 feels closer to 25 quid than it does to 20 for me. $14.99, 15 quid isn't that much more, isn't that much less, but it feels like a more attractive option. Do you know what I mean?
A better pill to swallow.
Yeah. So that was the point that I was raising. I thought that was pertinent.
It's a very good one. I'm going to like kind of speed us along a little bit here because I'm conscious of time. But I know, but it's good though. It's good chat. Like I think the other thing I thought in terms of prioritise is Game Pass is central. Like that's the heartbeat. Basically, don't listen to the people that you're sending shit out to just now, right? And put cards on the table. Try and listen to the punters. Listen to their reaction. And I think you'll find that a lot of them will be happy to pay, but you need to lower it and you need to diversify it. But that whole day one offering is still good. Like, do not, like, that would be the next big mistake for me if they were to be like, get to June, it's like, we're introducing new Game Pass tiers to make it cheaper, but we're actually going to strip out all the day ones and we're going to, exclusivity conversations that's happening that you're hearing. It's like, if you take that out of it, it's dead on arrival. Like, nobody will pay for that. And they've just killed a golden goose. But anyway, on that note, exclusives, get the crown jewels back on Xbox only. I think that's what they need to prioritise. Like, the Halo, Gears, Forza, I can see why they're on PlayStation, but they shouldn't be if they're wanting to make Xbox a place where people, as a destination, and if they're going against the Play Anywhere thing. Like, you need to give people a reason to buy an Xbox if you're pulling back Play Anywhere. Well, they're not pulling back Play Anywhere, but if they're going back from the whole, like, we want to be everywhere, they need to make sure that Xbox is our destination, because otherwise there's no point in the box. That's basically it. And spearhead it, your top Game Pass tiers with it as well. The flow of games, we talked about that. The output is getting increasingly better. There's no question about it. You look at it from a critical perspective. They just need to continue that momentum, but stagger it, and invest. Xbox just need to invest to make development smooth as possible and protect the devs, because they will all be shitting themselves over there in that, stable of Microsoft Game Studios. Like, the cuts that they've had recently was absolutely abhorrent. And they've got rid of some projects that they desperately kind of need, and they will regret that in a couple of years' time when they realise, fuck, the next Halo is 5 years away. The next Gears is over 5 years away. The next Forza, the same. The next Fable that comes out, even longer. Like, there'll be a dearth after that. And all these people they got rid of, that's when they could have dropped like a Project Dark and stuff like that. Am I saying that's going to be like these one games will fix it? Of course they won't, but you just need to have a regular output of sturdy, strong, big tentpole games that you can be like, these are flying the flag for Xbox this summer.
It makes it less likely, not less likely, but it makes it not as obvious to show that there's difficulties there. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's easy to criticize something when they're not doing something. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be easy
yeah.
to criticize Xbox if they're not dropping anything and saying, "Oh well, you know, maybe it was wrong to put Asha in charge." Like, it's just easier to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, you can write the headlines yourself. Like the first hint of trouble, they're fucked. That's the problem. They need
Yeah,
to do like flawless victory all the way. But
yeah, and I think that's a problem of their own doing, though. Do you know what I
that
mean?
is,
Like
yeah,
you said it at the top that PlayStation and Nintendo get away with it because they've had success
yeah.
and they're
Credit
they're
in the bank.
they're showing it and they have that credit in the bank, whereas Xbox are being looked at as third all the time
Yeah.
now. So I don't know how you lift the Titanic after after the iceberg. I don't know how you go back and pull that shit up, but
I mean,
Ian McKellen has to be there. Do you know what I mean?
oh, man, I'm back in the Lord of the Rings thing now, so yeah, he's top of mind. But
Like the fires of Gondor, eh? The
indeed.
beacons of Gondor need to be lit.
Listen, time of recording, hopefully we'll see a wee bit of Ian McKellen lifting things out of New Jersey rivers. Wink, wink. We'll see. Hint above me. But yeah, what have they? You need to look at it in terms of like what feels broken, but what have they got right? Because this is a thing. Like, can she save it, and how would fix the brand? They've got right. I still think the proposition, the idea of Game Pass still works for modern gaming.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to sort out the cost. The focus on the ordinary casual gamers, the people that aren't you and me, that have a gaming podcast that will just like I'll look to get Game Pass because it's still a cheaper point of entry to cover games and talk about them because we're not getting them any other way. So it's like that makes sense to me. That's justified. If you're a normal gamer, normal person out there, they need to appeal to them. They need to, get that proposition out there, and I'm going to come back to that in a second. But the Series X, I think they've got that right.
Yep.
There's no need to upgrade it. Project Helix, just you hold your horses. That's all I'm saying. The big players are back in the board, and that is huge for them. We're back in a world where they've got a Gears, a Halo, a Forza, a Fable, and some people might just be like, "Oh, typical Xbox." Like, yeah, they need that.
Yeah.
It's the same with PlayStation. It's like we don't roll our eyes as like, it's a Spider-Man, a Ghost, it's a Naughty Dog. It's like, yeah, that they need that as well. The same way that we've got a Halo remake coming out. We're getting a God of War 1, 2, and 3 remake coming from PlayStation. We can't shit our pants with excitement for one and then just be pious with the other. They're the exact same strategy. They're the exact same output. You know what I mean? That's exactly what's happening here. But you got to look at what they've got right because it's like, right, what still feels broken? And how do you fix it? And it's a big question. But I mean, for me, like the messaging is top of the tree here, and how to fix the brand, because that feels broken to me. It's like, it's messy, and your brand is way too prone to idiots like myself offering the punditry or, serial client leakers getting the word out first before it's made official. I can see why that can be a good thing, but they need identity in an era where every other gaming competitor is becoming increasingly corporate. A faceless badge, brand, Appleification, however you want to do it, that can be a point of difference. In the same way that the PlayStation had seized the hearts and minds of players with the PS4 generation after a catastrophic PS3 generation, where they were faceless and corporate, they're slipping back into that. There's no personality. And Xbox, they had personality, but it didn't feel organic. You know what I mean? It did feel forced at times. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, right, Phil Spencer looked like a geezer, right? He looked like one of us, right? They say the Bond part of it, it's like she wasn't there long enough, but it was kind of like, oh, she's the next one. It's almost like we're pinning all of our hopes for them to be the personality. You either have it, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Asha Sharma, she could just be young enough, different enough. She's got an opportunity there to kind of differentiate herself and do something a little bit differently. But it is, it's a problem across the industry when it comes to leaking and getting the word out before it's made official. Like, the problem is now, in an era where it's just cold corporate, there is no surprise, and you can only be disappointed if you're Xbox because you're under way more scrutiny. you've got to tighten that, because as soon as it's out, it's pulled apart. Like we're fucking rabid wolves. We'd get any bit of here we are talking about this right now because it's like, oh, she's talking about lowering the price of Game Pass and stuff like that, and we don't want that. We want to kind of keep a powder dry for the big announcement in June, and then you can go, because people are already coming with a predisposition of how they're going to react, and that is killing your brand, because you can never build hype, you can never build any positive sentiment in a healthy way at that point. At least that's just my opinion, but I am an idiot, so I know nothing, Scott. But I think on that note, when you're messaging, your Play Anywhere, like, it feels under communicated to the masses. It feels like, if you were to take the average mo or da into a PC world or something like that, and it's like, there's an Xbox, but wee Davey here, he's got this he's got a ROG. What does that mean? Is that a Xbox or is that a PC? What do you mean it's Play Anywhere? I don't get it. I thought it was an Xbox. You're telling me it's you know what I mean? It's messy. They need to find a way to put an umbrella term around that that's better than just Xbox Play Anywhere. But hey ho, and I really do feel that, and this is the big thing that's heartbroken for me, heartbreaking, is see if the casuals, the everyman, knew the ease of playing an Xbox, like really understood it, I think the Xbox would be absolutely flying. I think they would be doing way better than what they are now, and I think they've fudged that slightly, because it's the wee quality of life stuff, quick resume, the fact that you can play anywhere between PC and Xbox. Like, I can play on my Series X in the living room, go back up to my bed with the ROG in hand, and just pick up from the same cloud save. Mental stuff, you know what I mean? The quick resume function in itself, particularly, I'm sitting there playing Crash 4 on the Xbox this week, and I'm waiting, 24 hours between sessions, and it's just like, bang, there you go. And there's some games like Tony Hawk 3 and 4, put that on, waited months between it, bang, there you go. It's like, wee things, just little things that can tip it over, that they have over the competitor. They've never been able to communicate properly. And, that ultimately comes back to, the Game Pass pricing part as well. That not being messaged clearly enough, and the trust in leadership. It's not there yet. It's not their fault. That's all broken.
Yeah.
They've got that opportunity. Can they do it? She's got every chance, but she's got to seize it. But I just don't know. I just don't know, Scott. I just don't know. But do you think it's a turnaround job for her to close, or is it something deeper?
I think it's everything all at once, Liam. I think that it's a turnaround job. I think there's enough there that you could turn it around easily enough. A few decisions are there, go the right way, fair dues. But I also think that there's a deep. It's the woodworm, is that you have to strip everything right back. Otherwise it's all going to fall apart. Strip it right back, start again. And I think there's an element of that with the Xbox at the moment, that it is required for it. Off the back of the whole Play Anywhere stuff, I mean, how, for me and you, that's, well, maybe not even me, for you, that's a big deal. For me, I could take it or leave it. As wee Davies, Mon Da, going to buy him an Xbox ROG Ally now with the price of things? Is he going to have the means to be fucking playing something like that? I don't know. The attractive proposition is just double down on a console and just fucking sell that. I don't know. I've always been a devout fucking non-believer in Xbox Play Anywhere and cloud gaming, because I think cloud gaming is fucking shite, and the whole Xbox Play Anywhere stuff just doesn't make sense to me, because how many people are actually doing it? I get it. It's too niche, and I get it for PC gamers. I get it for things like that, but it's just like you're dancing for an audience that's slowly getting smaller. There's not more people buying PCs now, especially with fucking AI eating all the RAM up. It's just like there's less people buying PCs now. See if you had the foresight, Liam, and the fact that Xbox consoles aren't selling very well and haven't sold very well for quite a while. You could have really taken advantage of that. But who am I? Who am I to say anything about that? But for me, it's just it's always going to be. It's always going to be an option. Xbox, there's enough games there that I have enough I have enough interest in. If they're coming to PlayStation, am I going to buy the next Xbox console if I know those games are coming to PlayStation? I don't know. Am I going to buy a combined PC Xbox hybrid to play the next Gears of War? I don't fucking know that either. I don't understand the whole point in that, especially at the price point that they're thinking about. So that again, is that a turnaround job that you have to do on a person like me? Someone who's bought the Xbox Series X, someone who's bought failed Xbox consoles in the past. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
how do you turn that around for people who feel burned by this generation? I just don't know anymore. But
I mean, that's the thing. Like the Series X is a fantastic.
it's a brilliant console.
It's I'm with you. Like the Project Helix part, it's not needed. Like
Yeah.
I think eventually they kept on. I said I'll say like commentators, quite rightfully so, for years. It feels like for a good like 10 plus years, have always been harping on about how we're going to be adopting the mobile phone type model in terms of how we upgrade stuff, and that's why we're getting pro models and iterations and so on and so forth. Fair enough. But you start to lose the muggiest of punters in you and I in the process, because there was a time where I would try my best to upgrade every couple of years my iPhone, and then it stretches out further and further, and I'm just kind of like, they all kind of do much of the same.
Yep.
And yeah, the new ones has a new shiny thing, but I don't really need it to kind of get it to do what I'm doing. There's the days of the big gimmick upgrades that you saw with like iPhones, for example, and Samsung Androids. It was kind of like, yeah, there's better cameras, there's better this stuff that was kind of a tangible difference, but then it just becomes iterations, like it just runs slightly better, slightly being the keyword. Project Helix, it's just not really appealing to me. Like I'm fully, and I'm famous for just kind of saying this. We both are like, I won't get it, but really, I'm looking at it going, if I can still play Game Pass games on my Series X and also on my ROG, until you tell me I can't, or until for some reason you're not producing the games for it, there's no reason for me to spend $1,200 or pounds or whatever it's going to be. Like, it's not happening.
I'll finish my point with this, Liam, right? Because you said it at the very start of our Xbox chat in 2025, and it comes back to it, and it's always going to be the big thing for Xbox. With Project Helix, it's not an interesting proposition until you actually put games on Xbox that are worthwhile buying it for. You know what I mean? Like, it's even now, Game Pass isn't an interesting proposition because there's fuck all to play on it. When you drop these bigger titles, maybe $22.99 feels like a steal at that point. But for now, it's just not. Project Helix at whatever price point that's going to be to play fucking, I don't know, SteamWorld Dig on Game Pass on this massively fucking overpriced console. Nah, now is not the time, and it's never going to happen. So you can kiss my homos.
But yeah, very well put. I mean, I suppose if I was Asha Sharma, if I was speaking to her, and and you sit down in the room, quite simply look at Xbox and would be like that. Hey, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And I'd turn to Asha and I'd be like, you're looking kind of down to me, because things, they ain't getting over. So listen to what I say. You've got to turn around. You've got to turn around. And I'd probably repeat that a few times until she maybe that's all jokes aside, I do think Asha, it's moved into the feeling of being a slightly more optimistic place. Like, there feels like there's an optimistic momentum for the first time brewing for her in her tenure going into the June showcase, which is bang on time. So that messaging part, there's also much more intelligent people than I handling that, and that's working. They're putting the leaks in the right place, and I say leaks, that just go to The Verge. Just go to The Verge if you want Xbox leaks. But she does still have this air of being the administrator. She's seeing if there's any meat on the bone before that final decision comes. She's got to try and convince everybody it's like, that's not why I'm here, because that's always going to be a concern. And this is, I look at this as like their last play in the top flight, before the sword of Damocles and relegation is hanging precariously over their head, doing a Spurs. And it can happen to anybody. It can happen to Xbox. It can happen to Spurs. But I do have faith that we are going to see something change and fast. Whether it works, I will remain skeptical as always because I don't want to, chumpify myself here. I'm optimistic, but I'm not foolishly. And I don't ever really see them taking that number 2 slot between Sony and PlayStation. Between Sony and Nintendo. Like, that's Sony. To be fair, Sony and PlayStation are probably in better competition with each other than Xbox are now, but Xbox are in a fight for second here. That's it. This isn't about trying to be top dog. PlayStation and Nintendo are kind of rotating between it, because Nintendo's going to Nintendo. Let's not kid ourselves on. And PlayStation are a fucking juggernaut. You know what I mean? Like, it's not do you want to go play games, it's do you want to go play the PlayStation.
Yeah.
When your brand becomes the verb in that, it's like, well, there we go. There's not really much more you can do on top of that. But PC just kind of feels like the future of Xbox to me still, but I do still think that Asha's going to take us on a bit of a journey to get there. And I think Xbox will be in a bit more of a, hopefully, clearer, healthier place than what it was under the previous leadership, where it just kind of constantly felt like they were pivoting for pivoting's sake. I feel like they're going to be a little bit more decisive this time. But who knows, Scott? I mean, to our lovely listeners out there, what do you think? Are you optimistic about Xbox? Do you think Asha Sharma can turn things around? Do you think Game Pass is going to be better or worse? Let us know. I'm always love to see your comments on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are. Let us have it. But I think it's time for us to move on, Scott, for potentially the last time, as we note, to the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and decide which one deserves to live on the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Last week's theme was the best timeless classic game, with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past becoming the latest addition to the list. And in this week's showdown, to cap off the top 100 here, we're going to be debating the best game we think everyone should play at least once in their life to feature and round off the Pixel Picks list. Scott, it's been 2 years leading to this point. Let's do it one last time, man. As always, last week's winner goes last, which is yourself. So let's get to it, Scott. I was feeling sentimental for this one, Scott, and I thought, do you know what?
We've only just begun.
Exactly. There's going to be a poignant entry here because we've had so many of the big hitters. I've run out of the low-hanging fruit here, Scott, right? Cards on the table, because I look at that list and I'm like, wow, like, it's so representative. There's so many, like, if I could just have 99 games for the rest of my days and it was all that list, I don't need anything else. So I thought, what angle am I wanting to take here? And that led me to my honourable mention. I thought, poignancy. I thought, what had a profound effect? What did it do something that was cool? And for me, I picked Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice as my honourable mention because I found it did something profound in their exploration of mental health, particularly psychosis, in a video game. And I found that to be quite an intelligent and mature take on it. And I do think that people should experience that at least once in their life because it's a cool thing within video games. It's not something that you see, particularly in terms of a narrative viewpoint, being creative and how you explore psychosis and mental health struggles, but also audio design as well as technical graphics. It has it all. And I think it is a total one and done type thing. Like, you can play that. And I'd recommend somebody, like, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's short and it's pretty cool. That's what I would say, and that's why it's my honourable mention. For me, the pick this week, Scott, I'm going down the influence part. And I think people should at least play this game at least once to understand the profound influence that it's had on the video game landscape since it released. And it's Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3, Scott, because I'm like, Christ, of course it is. Because when I think about it, there was a time in gaming before that game came out, and there's a time after it, and there's a lot of things that we take for granted in some of the biggest and brightest games, the most popular games out there today. and the open world trend and how we navigate the open worlds and how we actually make progress through it. I mean, all you have to do is look at Far Cry 2 and then look at Far Cry 3 and look at video games afterwards. And that's why I think, do you know what? If you wanted to kind of understand that, and if I had that representation on the list, I do think this is a game that everyone should play once in their life because it's a blast and it's so much fun. And you'll walk away with just that little bit of, if we're trying to pass this to the next generation of gamers, it fits that brief for me. Because I'm like, well, this is something that had a big influence. Just try it out, play it once, see if you enjoy yourself. Or you could be sad like me and play it a few times.
Play it forever. Never stop playing it. Plus, it's got a fucking excellent bit with that. Is it Skrillex song?
Skrillex, yeah.
Burning all the fucking hash. It's class. What a fucking game that is. I might actually replay it.
It's worth it.
This week, Liam. You know, I might even commit to replaying it this week because I've not played it in ages. But no, it's great. Fantastic game. But it's not the game. Not my pick, Liam. It's not the game that I would choose to play at least once. When I was coming up with my own list, my own choices for this, for the content, I really should say Alan Wake 2. I should, but it's already on the list, so I can't, Liam. One of the problems I had was that my honourable mention isn't on the list, and I was 1,000% sure that my choice wasn't on the list until I looked about 20 seconds ago and I found it.
No.
I found it. It's like, shit, my ass. I can't believe that that's just happened to me. Now, if you're going to ask Scott Curry, the man, one game that you should play at least once, it's only going to be one game. And it would have been my choice because I wasn't sure that I'd done it, but it was Metal Gear Solid. Liam. I was like, surely we can't have not put Metal Gear Solid on the list. But fucking sure enough, we had. It's well on there. I think it's like best PS1 game or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'll try to find it so I can tell you exactly what it is. But it's definitely on the list because I was sure that I had every single Metal Gear Solid on it at one point, which I like.
Best PS1. Yeah.
Best PS1 game. There you go. Well, I picked out of mass. But yeah, that would have been my pick because I think it's up there. You're talking about influence and poignancy and impact. Metal Gear Solid is that game. But it can't be that game because it's already on the fucking list. So my game is actually a more recent title. A game that poignant in its own right. A relic of games, a relic and a what's the word? A collage of games that come together to create something even more beautiful. Something that has affected all of us in one way, shape, or form in the last year, Liam. A title that shouldn't need any introduction, but the game that I'm choosing for this week is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You're talking about games that you should play at least once in your life. Let's just take everything out of it. Story-wise, 1,000%. That game takes you on a fucking journey. Then you've got the music. You know, you should play that game just for the music alone, I'd say. You could. The combat, fucking phenomenal as well. It's just like everything that has that je ne sais quoi. That you know, it continues to fucking get better and better the whole time you play it. And then you've got the performances for the cast. Now, one of my faults in the Make Xbox Give It Again episode, Liam, is that I said it has an excellent cast. Ben Starr, Andy Serkis, fucking guy from Daredevil, what's his name again? Charlie Cox. I failed to mention Jennifer English, and she is the fucking standout in this game. It is incredible, the performances in this fucking thing. And that is a game that every single person listening to this podcast, if you haven't played it, go and fucking play it. If you like Final Fantasy, if you like Persona, if you like fucking France, if you like being sad for a living, this is a game that you should play. You know, if you like old school Final Fantasy, fucking go and play it. It's outrageous how good this game is, and it will grab you by the fucking arse cheeks,
Won't
and
let you go.
it will drag you to Paris, France, and you will be fucking gommaged within that moment. Incredible stuff, man. And it is why it should be a game every single person should play at least once in their life.
Yep. For those who come after, Scott, no question. I've already put it in the list. It is the winner. I actually thought we'd had it on the list before.
So did I. So did I. When you were talking about
Goodness.
your choices, I was like, he's going to go for the lowest of hanging fruit.
I actually thought it was already on there because I actually thought he's going to pick Metal Gear Solid again. He did. But I just thought, let's just try something else. I was thinking, just play it at least once as opposed to forever.
Yep.
Even though I think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a game that you should play once, you will want to play it forever. It's a game I constantly think about going back to because it is special.
Wait a minute. I'm going to dive off screen for 30 seconds, right?
You're going to rant about it, but
for a minute.
I think
seconds, 45 seconds, 15 minutes.
A lot of our listeners
will
look. He's still there. He's half his seat. I have no idea what he's doing. He's on the floor, people. He's on the floor. But yeah, a lot of our listeners will have hopefully played Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You'll all agree it's definitely a game that everybody and anybody should play at least once in their lives. But what a game. I mean, the music, there it is.
Still in the cellophane. Not even opened it yet.
Oh God, yeah, you got the physical copy. Yeah,
I did.
It's wonderful. It's a game I've often thought that I'd just download again on the ROG just to kind of play it on the go. And there's something, I've never seen a game have that. We all had that shared feeling of it just emotionally moving you, but you feel so strongly for that world and characters. And that's at the first time of playing. That's special. That's really special. Like, there's people I know that have, got tattoos of that stuff for that game. They've really committed to these characters because they're so lovable and the world is real and the storytelling mature and that music and everything like you had mentioned, Scott. Yeah, there's no contest. Congratulations to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. You are the final entrant onto the Pixel Picks Showdown list. Now, Scott, all roads have been leading to this, and that's my little teaser for next week. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be having a special event episode. Some may call it an end game for the Pixel Picks Showdown. It's going to be something you don't want to miss. All we're saying is 100 games and only one will stand. Join us next week for that one. It's going to be a doozy. But alas, on that little teasing note, Scott, it does bring us to an end to this week's podcast. Now, thank you once again for joining us. And remember, go out there, support small independent games media out there. I'm going to just interject my own spiel here to say it's so vitally important that we do that, particularly in this day and age. And also, listen, the good thing about supporting small independent games media is that we're not going to ram their podcast full of fucking ads. So you can just sit and listen and have a blather because there's far too many ads out there. And yeah, every time that you do come and join us for a listen, you share, whatever it is, it makes a huge difference. And we see and love each and every one of you for doing so. It honestly means the world. And yeah, please continue to do it. Makes a massive difference. And we love hearing from you as well. So if you want to do that, you can give us a shout at pixelparents.bscribe.social or pixelparents@gmail.com. Remember, if you want to come join the free community, you can do it at Patreon at patreon.com/pixelparents, so you can support the show and things will forever be free. We will not, well, Scott won't have his way with a free paid membership at some point.
We'll get there eventually.
Fighting a good fight. But Scott, it's test time. Where can people find you if they want to chat to you online about video games?
Video games. I am available on Blue Sky at lamaman.bsky.social. I don't know. I think I said I was going to try and stop posting on it for a bit, and then
He's back.
I'm back again, like the Renegade Master.
That's it.
I fucking managed to squeeze that one out. Hi, it's cool.
No, awesome. I mean, if you want to follow me, I will be there at carmelite.bsky.social, where I'm taking my head out the sand a little bit more often because brother, you know, what is going on? There's just so much fighting in the world today. You know, Scott.
we just got to find a way.
We do. Bring some love in here today. No, I
Bring
think it's
some love in here today.
it's been great on Blue Sky. It's been great just kind of again continue to connect and just
Pick
chat
up
with people.
lights.
What I would say, Scott, this week, be sure you're
Punish
following us
me
on
with
Blue Sky
brutality.
and the channel. We've got a lot of fun shit lined up. And
Talk to me.
No, Scott can attest to this, right? With next week's episode, we've been going to town, having a bit too much fun, but this is going to be some laugh. We're going to make sure this is going to be an episode to remember and not forget. On that note, this is a big hint. Thank you to our producer and music man, the talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. Please go show him some love. Check out his work on Instagram at Bare Hands Designs and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on Blue Sky. You'll want to this week. Of course, write to us, like I said, at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Whatever you are, like, share, subscribe, just play some damn games. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Play Alan Wake 2.
For those who come after.
For those who come after, man.